Good evening and welcome to Forge. I'm your host, Wildman. This
and I
is
am your co-host, DJ Tiano.
Yes.
It is Tuesday, March 3rd. We're getting into episode 10, I believe. Episode 10.
episode
correct?
10, yes.
This episode is based around hobbies and, things that we enjoy, things that we are passionate about, hobbies that turn into lifestyles, etc.
Yes.
But first, as always, we're going to do the quote from last week. And we're going to break that down. And this one is, last week's quote was from Aristotle.
Ooh.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit.
Interesting.
So we got for us, Wild Man.
I don't like him.
Aristotle?
I don't like him.
You don't like any philosopher, do you?
Oh, no, I like him. Which ones? I like Socrates. Socrates was good. I like Socrates. Then I'm just saying his goddamn name.
I think you just say like
Socrates, yeah. All right, so let's see. We are where we were to. So my takeaway from that is experience. When you set your mind to do something, you become that. A carpenter, somebody who works with wood, a mason. They set out every day. Boom, 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 boom. They start here and they work their way up.
Absolutely.
You know? Then you build an ark.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they...
And then excellence is no longer an act but a habit.
Yes.
So it's kind of going through the motions. This podcast, the more and more we do, the better quality is it's you guys are receiving at home. And I think you guys are going to be happy to hear that this week's episode, we're getting better and better and better. We have our first interview.
Yes.
So we'll get to that later. If it is not included in the video on the YouTube, it will be a separate video by itself in the Forge page. We will set up.
And on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not be the same running episode.
Oh,
so
no. It might be a separate part.
As you all know at home, we're learning as we go. So,
editing is a bitch.
Yeah. Editing, figuring out how to move things from one app to the next. It's all, but hey.
It's fun.
It's
I'm
fun.
enjoying the hell out of it, yeah.
I'm getting more and more passionate about it every week that it goes on. The doors are opening for other avenues. I've been talking to many podcasters across the world.
Okay.
I mean, I've got people hit me in the DMs and stuff now. It's pretty cool, man. I'm starting to open a lot of doors.
They hit you in the DMs?
They hit me in the DMs.
I think there's a law against the...
DM, direct message. All right, so today's episode, hobbies.
Yes.
The actual definition of a hobby is, most of you, I'm sure, are aware of this, but if you've been locked in a closet for the last however old you are, is an activity done regular in one's leisure time for pleasure. What are some of your hobbies? Besides, obviously, we're now into the podcasting.
Yes,
that's become a huge hobby for me. I don't know about you, but
oh no, I'm still wrapping my head around this because we want to do this to uplift and to make money and step away from that killing yourself to make somebody else rich.
Yeah.
I'm still wrapping my head around that you can make money doing this.
Yeah.
It's still, I read, I listen to what DJs, look at the things that DJ sends me, I read to them, I talk to other people about this, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I hit the search bar a few weeks ago on Facebook to start searching up podcasters or podcast support groups and all this stuff, and I was just blown away. I was just, there's so much. And when you hit a search bar, you don't know...
you never know what's going to
pop
up.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's become a hobby of mine, just hitting the search bar, When somebody says something and I don't know the answer, which a lot of people these days pretend they know everything, you can actually just hit the search bar and move right along and find the answer.
YouTube and me are good friends.
Yeah.
YouTube and
Google.
Believe it or not, and I am man enough to admit this, I have a Pinterest account, and I have many pins and pins saved to things that I want to build, like furniture. But get back to DJ's question.
I have not got to the Pinterest yet, and I'm sure that you can find many hobbies on Pinterest, right?
Ooh,
that's what it is. It's like
pallet building.
Yeah.
You know what pallets are? The wooden pallets.
Yeah.
You can't believe some of the stuff you could find to build out of them.
I remember you telling me some of this stuff over last summer. But
furniture, people building beds.
Yeah.
Out of pallets, beds, spice racks, or like full. I mean, full on,
full on
wall sized. It's huge. But to answer DJ's question, I would say that my regular hobbies include outside of action flicks. I still do dabble into martial arts. I still do a lot of mostly internal, and I do I actually do iron palm training. I've been
really
looking at, yes.
You do it, or you've been
Oh
looking
no, I
into
do.
it?
I do. I have a. I started out. You start out, but right now I'm at two. I've got 3 burlap sacks with 12,000 BBs in it. It's tied off. I set it down. I throw on a show, whatever I want to watch, and let's say a show is an hour, and I sit there, and I hit it for an hour.
Okay.
And I watch another show, and I do it with the other hand.
Okay.
Sometimes I throw the elbows in there if I'm gonna, but I still have the fitness. I do. I'm looking into photography. I've talked to some people online on Facebook. Cameras are expensive as hell. Some of them are like a small, like a cheap beater car.
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
I get it. I see some of these guys at the weddings. They have these cameras. They're like putting on all types of attachments.
It's this goddamn big.
Man, that's an expensive hobby.
$6,000 just for the camera.
Yeah, but you can make money. We'll
Yes,
get into
you can.
that later.
Yes.
Some hobbies that produce jobs or produce a
Yep.
living. And that's really important. I mean, because if you don't love what you do, you find yourself kicking rocks every time you got to go to work.
Well,
and you're just miserable all the way through.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could actually make money out of that. Be a professional rock kicker.
You might be able to.
I'm sure some part of the world
Somewhere.
you can do that.
All right, so we talked about some of the stuff you enjoy. I too, as well, get into the martial arts. As you can see, these are 2 of my passions. For those who are not listening and are watching on YouTube, you can see the shirt. It's DJ Bruce Lee. It's 2 of my passions in one shirt. How could you go wrong?
You can't.
But it's obvious that music is one of my passions and one of my hobbies. I tend to tell everybody one of the main reasons I was able to successfully become a DJ is how I embrace all the genres. And this has been a hobby for years and years and years.
All the genres?
Not all of them. I
Okay.
can't do what's that?
I can't do
bluegrass and folk and opera. I
can't do screamo.
I can't do the heavy metal. I can't really get into that
Screamo,
stuff. I understand why people enjoy it, but it's just not my thing.
the screamo.
No. Again, I grew up 90s hip hop, so I mean,
Motown, baby.
yeah, Motown. I love Motown. I love blues. Blues, actually, as I gotten older, blues is probably one of my more liked genres.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. It just clicks with me. As I gotten older, I don't, I've kind of done away with the gangster rap. Like, the gangster side of me has kind of gone away.
I think even the gangster rap those kind of stopped, and it's been like
Well, obviously,
all the gangsters are retired now. They're chilling.
well, they're still out there, but they're
but
grandpa gangsters.
that's right. That's right. They're chilling.
No, man, but I'm just saying, the older I get, the more tranquil I find myself. I find myself being more tranquil listening to easier going music and things like that because of the frustrations and stresses of a day. Sometimes I just need something to lean back on. It's not so, and then there's times where I gotta rip out, some heavy duty paintwork. So I got it on, my old gangster stuff. Throwing my gang signs up at
Neil
the walls
Simon.
and stuff.
Watch Neil Simon.
Simon and Garfunkel.
There you go,
Yeah.
little Michael Bublé.
Yeah, I love Michael Bublé.
So do I. Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I listen to that when I'm cooking.
Yeah, I love his cover of Nina Simone. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I also, as you can see, everybody watching from YouTube, we're coming to you live from the Raider Cave. I'm a huge Raider fan. Like, I live, breathe, pee freaking Raiders, man.
That you might want to see a doctor about that.
Yeah, but if we could swivel the camera around, you'd probably see 500 different Raider emblems laying around the room and models and everything else. Sports in a whole, Not as much as I used to. I used to
Okay.
get down with basketball and all that.
I can get in the way. Couldn't play.
No. Baseball, I never was able to really follow that on TV. It's just too boring. But I love to go to the games, though. The games are where it's at. Like,
No offense to the baseball players.
no, not at all.
I
No,
just
no
need a little
offense
more.
taken.
I played baseball when I was younger.
Yeah.
Bored the hell out of it.
Unfortunately, I was never. I never had the pleasure of being in a team sport. Although growing up, we had the sandlot kind of deal.
Okay.
At the elementary school, everybody meet. We played. That was my team sports. I didn't have actual team sports through school or anything like that. And I can't blame that on anybody but myself. And just never.
I was too
myself.
small.
Yeah, that was pretty much my issue too.
5'3".
Yeah.
75 pounds. Going to city schools where everyone was 6 foot, 200 some pounds.
That was pretty much my issue
Woo.
too. I mean, I didn't even want to go swimming because I thought I was so skinny. I got a doctor's note every time it was time for swimming.
I didn't go swimming because it was nasty.
But as I've gotten older, these are the things you grow out of. You grow out of your insecurities, and if you don't, you really need to learn how to combat those. And sometimes hobbies can help you combat your insecurities.
Yes, an outlet.
If you're sitting there at home dwelling in your own, depression and you're not seeing any progress of going anywhere or anything like that, you tend to take steps back and get worse and worse and worse. But to those who have these depression problems and issues, you find yourself some hobbies. So you get yourself into some hobbies. You completely immerse yourself into something that you enjoy.
Yes.
I've been around quite a few people who suffer from depression and things like this. And from the outside looking in, I can honestly tell you that these people do not go out of their way to do anything different with their life. They're just complacent. They go to work, they come home, they clean their house, they do their laundry, they go to sleep, they wake up, do it all over again, and they do nothing on the weekends. They have no interests in life. I mean, outside of maybe a couple TV shows that they frequent, the more and more you find yourself doing something you enjoy, the more and more you immerse yourself into these things, the more and more you dig yourself out of the depression. I think a lot of us can say that, the pandemic has hindered a lot of our happiness and progressions and things like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I was going down that path, and I found my outs by finding this new hobby, podcasting.
Oh.
And
Well, I'm glad I could help.
yeah, because you were the one that approached me with this. This is something I always wanted to do. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but it kind of really dug me out of my hole, and it's brought me back. I probably said this back a few episodes ago. I lost a few friends, so I was grieving and all that stuff, and I was getting down on myself. And finding a new hobby kind of just dug me right out of that hole. I look forward to every Tuesday. I look forward to sitting down and just chopping it up with you. And and now we're gonna start chopping it up with other people, people who's had success, and we can start asking them what their hobbies are, what keeps them on track, and whatnot. So it's really important. Because again, if you
other than going to pills, I mean, hobbies are used. Yes, if you start to go down for you start to go down to a funk. What can I do? Maybe I have too much time. Maybe you live too much up here, because when you don't have anything to do, a lot of times you seek solace in your brain, which is a bad place for anybody to be. I mean, unless you're a writer, and even writers take a break where they just totally get out of their head.
Well, see, I could have sat home this whole time during the pandemic and practice DJing, but the fact that I wasn't being put in front of a crowd and all that, it was just like I was kind of putting it on the back burner. You know what I mean? I was finding other things to do. It wasn't really the things I love to do. But once I seen a light at the end of the tunnel with this pandemic, and I'm starting to get some events lined up and scheduled and things like that. I went back to practicing, and again, it got me right out of the funk. Like these last few weeks, I've been really, just
Amped
my spirit's been up.
It's good.
I've been looking forward to the next day, like the next adventure, the next podcast, the next, event, the next couple I got to work with weddings and things like that. I'm looking forward to this stuff. So it's almost obvious to me that, like, if you suffer from depression, I mean, there's probably a lot of reasons. There's different reasons why people suffer from depression.
Yes.
But take a look at yourself and ask yourself, am I doing anything I enjoy? Am I getting out in nature? Am I going fishing? Little things like that. Whatever.
Am I exhausting all the other outlets that are available to me?
I mean, I guess
to better my
reading
life,
is a hobby, right? I started.
Yes, it is.
Started
they have
reading.
what is book clubs?
Yeah, book clubs. So I mean, that right there, not only has it given me something else to do, it's also I can I'm learning all these little things every day, something new, something to build off of. And I've been trying to do different avenues with books and things like that.
Okay.
I started listening to like Bushido, Way of the Warrior kind of stuff, and all types of stuff that I've always been fascinated with. But
there's on Netflix. There's a new show, a documentary they did where it's they talk about like ways of the samurai.
Yeah.
Or they talk about like certain samurais that had a pinnacle point in the country's history.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Dynasties
It looks,
and all that stuff.
I don't know. No, not the like the dynasty. I mean, if they were part of the dynasty, that's part of the story.
Yeah.
But just like the samurai, he or she themselves. It was just about the difference.
So it's kind of like their stories. Whatever.
There's stories of like that hero.
Whatever pivotal.
Yes, and apparently
role they played.
I mean, no, they don't really teach us a lot of that in school, but the other two countries with the samurais and the ninjas have had a very fruitful history.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know.
I don't know what intrigues me so much about that era, but you ask anybody that knows me, I'm all about it. Like movies like The Last Samurai, and I was speaking with my brother, and he's just like, "Dude, you're just martial art. You're that martial arts guru, And then through talks with him, he started asking me, "Hey, did you see that show on HBO?" And he's starting to get into it. He's like, "Hey, have you watched Ip Man?" And I'm like,
"It grabs you. It does." I know. You tell people in Ip Man, and they're like, "Oh," and they're like, "Well, which one?" Well, all of them have been great.
Yeah.
The young version, the other couple but Donnie Yen has just been the embodiment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I might be a little
Donnie
biased.
Yen's good, man. Donnie Yen is good.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna shift gears. It's important to have these hobbies and things like that. There's some hobbies that you're just not really passionate about. I mean, like
just something to pass the time.
Something that you and your boys or you and your friends. They don't have to be your boys, or they could be your friends' girls or whatever.
Or your girls. Or your women.
You get out and you just do it to do it. You know what I mean? I seen this new bar in our city, axe throwing. It's not something I can see myself like 100% getting passionate about. But it's definitely like
something to pass the time on,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's intriguing.
I want to go throw some axes.
Me and my buddies, during the summertime, we go disc golfing. You ever disc golf before?
I've seen it. I haven't been.
I don't golf because I'm horrible. Like I'm gone
like
to the
Happy
range.
Gilmore.
Yeah, I go to the range and I line up, and I'm like Happy Gilmore. I take 2 steps like a punter. Instead of, like standing there all in the hips like the Caddyshack used to teach you,
No, that was Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. It's all in the hips.
It was in Caddyshack too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
I'll have to watch it again.
I approached the tee and I hit the ball and it just slices right to the right. I mean, like immediately. It probably breaks windows. Like it goes nowhere near where you're supposed to drive the ball to. So that's why I don't hit the actual course.
Gotcha.
So me and my buddies, we figured out this disc golf thing. There's a lot of parks in the city that have these things. If you've ever been to a park and you see this little metal thing, it's got like a little basket with chains hanging from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's disc golf.
I've seen them.
Basically the same rules as golf. You go out with a frisbee. It's a little bit more tougher of a frisbee. It's a little thicker. It's got a little more weight to it. And you just play like you're playing golf.
That's cool.
And you count par and all that stuff. But it's something I'm not passionate about.
Okay.
So we talk about the hobbies that we can be passionate about. You were talking about some of your hobbies. What would you say
that I'm most passionate about?
Yeah, what hobby would you say you're most passionate about?
Well, right now I'm gonna have to say the reading, and I haven't yet, but this photography thing. I've been following a lot of people on the Instagram. And a lot of the painters, a lot of the bushcrafting, which is another thing I'm looking to take up too, where they teach you like how to survive.
Is that like a Manscaped commercial or something?
No.
Bushcrafting.
They teach you like how to build a hut out in the woods.
Gotcha.
fire, how to
Yeah.
build a fire. I mean, like you cut something. I mean, you can heat. You can. They're getting moss, starting a fire with moss, and it's raining out.
So you're staying true to the wild man title.
Oh yeah, I gotta do
Yeah.
it. Well, then, I'm not one to be very civilized. This podcast, and with the brand that we're trying to create, has, I guess, humbled me or made me where I have to think before I speak, because I normally don't. I just, whatever's on the mind flows to tongue, and it's out for the world.
So you can honestly say that since we've been up and running with this podcast, that you've seen some changes within yourself, right? Because I can see it in multiple aspects.
In that aspect, yes.
I can see that, you can talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you need to put your money where your mouth is, and you got to practice what you preach,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're out here preaching positivity to all
Yes.
these people, and this has become like a passionate hobby of mine.
Okay.
Like actually trying to change my ways, trying to better
See, that's
myself, and I'm doing it for myself solely.
Mm-hmm.
The main target is to improve myself.
Yes.
But we also preach to you guys that we want you guys to come on the journey with us.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you guys to come on the journey with us, we have to show that we're actually doing what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So I take that into account every day.
Okay.
We got these people listening. We got new followers. We got people in other countries listening.
Which is cool.
Our demographics are widening. I mean, we've touched almost every.
Like my ass.
I would hope not.
It's all right.
But our demographics are widely growing. I wake up and it used to be I get on Facebook, check things. I get on our app that controls our podcast. I'm checking all the statistics out. It's like the first thing I do now. I can see the passion, so
That's good.
this hobby has become a passion of mine, and it's awesome.
Like with our buddy Will that we had the interview with, he was talking about being woke and knowing why you're here. And I found this out a long time ago. Didn't really put two and two together. I always knew what I wanted to do, what I can do for people.
Yeah.
And this podcast is a way to help me do that, because I've always been positive.
Yeah.
I don't let the negative in. When somebody tries to cut me down, I just laugh at them, like literally, and say something about their mother. But
Oh, good old mama jokes.
that's right. But now I can show that people that, I don't care what other people think about me. I'm going to make people laugh. I'm going to force you to take stock of your life and to stop and think where you're at. Are you going in the direction, and like, I said something to a DJ about this. I think it was last year, because we were talking about it, because it was something that annoys me. When you're with somebody and hey, how you doing? And they say, oh, I'm living a dream, man. Well, I go, but is it your dream? And I want to say 11 out of 10 people, I get that deer.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They just get the deer in the head. They don't know how to answer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can't.
Well, we all tend to fall to trends and sayings, and we use it in our daily, our daily exercises. And you'll hear that the American dream.
Yeah.
Which used to be, what was the American dream? Having a house with
white picket fence,
where your kids are
2
playing
kids,
in the yard. Yeah. Right.
and they could go to college.
I think that
was a rich white dream.
That was a nightmare.
I want a wrought iron fence, not that white picket.
But as this stuff is force fed to us, I think sometimes we just kind of regurgitate that as a reply, because like for instance, up here in New York, how you doing? It doesn't necessarily mean how are you doing. You know what I mean? How you doing? It could just mean you walk by someone and say, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean?
How's it hanging? To the left.
To the left. So to the left. But to get back on track here though, so hobbies that you're passionate about, can these hobbies actually be turned into a lifestyle?
Most definitely.
Absolutely, right?
Most definitely. I
mean,
think that nowadays almost everything can be turned into a lifestyle where you can monetize onto that.
Yeah. So
You know?
I actually, yeah, I mean, you got Tiger Woods, golf. turn that into, after watching his story, it was a little bit more force fed than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But you got your athletes that yearn for that greatness. They strive. It starts out as a hobby as a kid.
Yeah.
And they're passionate about it, and they actually, they live their life for that hobby. So yes, it absolutely can turn into a lifestyle.
Well, like I've taken up woodworking, and I've made 1, 2, 3, like 6 pieces.
Sweet.
And it's
Now you start selling those
oh my
bad
god!
boys.
I know that's what I need to do. I need to do just a couple pieces that I don't.
I know a good painter.
That I don't want for the house.
I can also stain stuff too.
And then sell them off. I need to do that, but.
So yeah, these things that we take these hobbies and we turn them into lifestyles, which can ultimately turn into jobs. So take DJing for instance. It started out more of a passion, even though I knew that instantly, there was a market for getting out DJing, making money. Eventually I got enough skill set where I felt comfortable going in front of people.
Okay.
And I started making money, and it started pushing me to want more. Started pushing me to want more. So absolutely, it can turn. These things can turn into lifestyles. Again, this podcast, it started off just like a shot in the dark. Let's try it. It's kind of the thing of the future. Everybody's kind of doing it.
Being online, doing something
whether
online.
Whether they're being successful at it or not, they're having fun doing it. A lot of the people, I can honestly tell you that it doesn't seem like they're actually trying to generate money. They're actually doing it.
Yeah.
Solely to help people out or talk about the things they enjoy.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But, absolutely. This podcast has kind of changed my lifestyle. So I've always been positive.
Mm-hmm.
You knew me for quite a bit now. I've always posted, positive quotes and things to try and get people. And now I only think of what other people think on the other side of Facebook. Like, oh my God, here's this kid with this inspirational quote of the day, or he's driving me nuts with this positivity crap. But I'm learning this stuff as I go, and the only reason I'm posting and putting it back out there is I'm hoping that the world grasps. They grasp this stuff like I'm grasping it, and it's actually making a difference in my life, which is changing my lifestyle. So
that's good.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to be able to make that difference where people, they stop, and it's not just, it's another self-help or some positive uplifting bullshit. No, stop and think.
Yeah.
Listen. Before you just dismiss everything, listen, you know what? Try it for 30 days. Even though they say, 21 days, it forms a habit.
Yeah.
You know what? For the stubborn people out there, some of us are a little stubborn. Take your 30 days, implement it into your life. And I guarantee you're going to see a change. You might not like it, and you may think, this is just a little bit too much to do. But you will see something. You'll see either it doesn't work, so you got to tweak it and figure out what it does. Or you'll see, you know what, I like this. Now you have to make the choice. Do I want to continue to do this?
Well, naturally, I can speak from experience. When you get into something and then you do turn that passion into a job or a money-making opportunity, you find yourself wanting to reallocate all of your time to this because it's what's making you happy. It's what's driving you. But, deep in your mind or, in your whatever your situation may be at home or your financial situation, we know we need to anchor ourselves down and we need to have a job that we may not like to go to and things like that. But it gets you through the day to look forward to the end of the day. And, at one point a couple years ago, I felt like I had too much on my plate.
Okay.
So I had to take a step back for a little bit. I had to figure out, even though what I love to do most and what I was passionate about most, I had to take a little step back from it because it was getting to be a little bit too much with everything else on my plate. And when I did that, when I stepped away from that, is when I realized, man, that is really what I'm passionate about because there's a void in my life now. Now how can I turn this around and make more and more and more and more money off of it so I can continue to do these things? So you find ways to keep to keep that passion burning, to keep it going.
Keep you going.
Don't give up on your hobbies, man, because the ultimate goal for you as far as life should be happiness, and these hobbies and passions, they bring the happiness to you, you know. So.
And not just monetarily happy,
Yeah.
but all three: mind, body, spirit. You know, I find for me the one thing that happens along with having hobbies, because most people think, oh, if I had the time. Here's one thing that you can that should help. You know, forget about what day it is. The days no longer exist. Okay? I know people's like, oh, what do you mean? Well, unless you have an appointment for a certain day, who cares? Because every day is an opportunity. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that say, "Oh, I can't wait till Friday. Can't wait till Friday." And I've talked to a lot of people that are in like public speaking and they attacked this online stuff well before we got onto it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I hate Saturday. I hate the weekends because you can't make many money on the weekends. They say all the money is made Monday to Friday. I hate the weekends. Me, I went all that, and I don't know. And I don't care.
Well, they'll tell you the ultimate goal is to make money while you're sleeping.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
but you want
but
that.
Not everybody
passive
can obtain that.
But but who cares what day it is unless you have something scheduled for a certain day, and then you set a little reminder for it. Other than that, from Sunday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday, however your days go, whatever your week is, just wake up every day, take one step further than you were before, be one step better than you were yesterday. Yeah. That's all it is. Forget what day it is. You know?
Yeah. I mean, this is what we preach every episode.
Yep.
Just forge a better you, forge a better you, forge a better you. And I know there's not too much to really speak about hobbies, and maybe if we had a little bit of interaction, things might, spice up the conversation a little bit. But
this was more of an easy thing, like you said.
This is one of our easier episodes, our more laid back episodes. But hobbies and passions are so important to bettering yourself, because again, if you're not freaking happy, you're gonna get sucked farther into that depression hole,
or whatever you're dealing with.
Then the others around you are gonna be depressed.
It's gonna reach out, and then your life is ultimately you're gonna fail.
Here's a nice question.
Okay.
I shouldn't say a nice question, a good question.
Okay.
Say you are one of these people who are stuck in this depression hole.
Stuck in a rut.
And they don't have any passions or hobbies. How do they go about figuring out?
Try them all. I've talked to a couple people. I was as a DJ, I think we might have forgotten, but he knows. They tried to they did back in the days with ADD. I was very rambunctious for my mother.
So you were diagnosed with
They diagnosed me when I was 7 with ADD.
When I
was
snake?
7. Yes. When I was 7, and this was just when ADD was like just coming out.
Yeah, this is.
And
take this pill, sit in the corner, young boy.
No, Mom didn't have that. I was on the front of every class at school, and God forbid that teacher put me in the back of the class. They were catching Mom's hands.
Catch these hands.
They were catching the hands, but I've talked to other people because I've had to sit when I was in the doctors, and I talked to different people about this and psychologists, and then listening to the kids, and a lot of the times people that might be going through something, they haven't done anything. I mean, you've got the big thing kickers are right now are like your anime. That gets through to a lot of different people because of everything that's always going on in there. And I would talk to these people and I would say, how about we just try everything? I mean, there's an abundance of different painting, photography, DJing, writing music, reading, plays, movies and plays, what is it, Broadway? Just everything like skipping, your golf, disc golf, regular golf, bowling, there's parasailing, there's zip lining. There is so much to do out there.
I think a good way, because I think I'm not speaking for everybody out there, but majority of Americans, when they get out of work and they go home and they settle down, they're watching TV, right?
Yeah.
What are you watching on TV? Are you watching cooking shows? Are you watching tattoo shows? Are you watching, This is a good gateway to try and figure out, maybe you can find something, not so much sitcoms, but the reality TVs and things like that, bar rescues or do it yourself. All of these are avenues. If you find yourself watching one of these shows or categories about these shows more than once, maybe that's something you should get up and get out and try.
Yeah, scuba diving, all those, the treasure hunting and whatnot.
I've always been into being a painter and all. I've been in the whole, contractor world, and I don't really watch too much TV these days, but I see when they do like the makeovers and stuff like that, and I often think, man, I would love to get into some real estate or buying some houses, do some flipping.
I had to stop watching all those house shows because I didn't have a house, and I would watch one show, and I would literally come up with like 400 different ideas. So we could do this. I got no house to do it.
Well, I mean, it could be anything. It could be Dancing with the Stars. You want to dance?
Stop.
Well, whatever. Stop. There might be some young girl out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're gonna get up and go out and toe it up.
My mother goes like, I'm watching Dancing with the Stars. Well, stop.
But I'm just saying, for these people who are stuck,
try everything.
Hit the internet. Maybe find a vacation spot. Walk on a beach. I mean, it could be anything. Anything could be a hobby.
Yeah.
So really, just get in tune with yourself and figure out what yourself loves. And it could be anything.
Yeah.
We can make this a little quick. Maybe might be funny. What's a guilty pleasure of yours? A guilty hobby pleasure?
Oh, guilty pleasure. Honestly, I'll find a show that I probably shouldn't sit through like 5, 6, 7, or 8 episodes, and I'll get some of oh my god, this little ball of chocolate with the stuff on the inside, not the Linzer chocolates.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I'll just, if I'm not doing anything, and sometimes I need to calm my brain down, and I'll just sit there
and eat chocolate after
chocolate. Or I'll watch the show for like an hour and a half, and I'll be like, all right, something else, and I'll jump on a video game.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, let's capture a village.
Yeah. Guilty pleasures. It could be, anything. Usually, guilty pleasure would be something that you wouldn't be pinned to, or somebody would expect you to be into. But I don't know. A guilty pleasure of mine probably. I never grew out of the wrestling. That's a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
A lot of people say, "What the fuck? What are you watching that shit for?" I find it entertaining, man. And I like competition. I like the whole fighting thing. I like characters. It's just a whole big ball of that shit. And, I can't say that I watch it to the level I used to watch it. I'll throw it on the background, something to kind of just be in the background or whatever. But, watching someone like The Rock and John Cena come up, and, these were guys that I grew up on. And to see where they're at today is a stepping stone for them.
How did you grow up on John Cena? You can't see him.
I have kids. Oh, yeah.
But you still can't see him.
Yeah. Joy, my stepson, used to love John Cena. Yeah. I don't know if he was just humoring me, being into the whole wrestling thing, just trying to click with me or whatever.
That's cool.
I used to take him. I still take the kids.
I remember.
When I take them all the time. It's something different. It's something, you might not enjoy it every day, but you take them to the live events.
Get you out of the house.
Like a baseball game. Yeah. Like I said, I can't watch it on TV, but you go there and it's entertaining as hell. So
the new thing is that gladiator, where you get dressed up as a knight and you whack each other with the swords.
Like Lancing?
No. I think they have that too, but this is where
this is a TV show.
It's a TV show where you're in an octagon, or not octagon, but a big ass circle. And you've got suits of armor on, and you go at it with swords. Wow. Apparently, it's picking up. I know, not so much. I don't think yet it's really hit the States. There might be a few places that do it, if I'm remembering, but the other spots overseas, it seems to be getting bigger. I've seen a few times on the Facebook where these guys are. They're not. They're
have to check
some
it
kind
out.
of sword. I don't think it's steel, or if it's light steel, the swords. They're not slashing each other, but they're beating.
I have to check it out, man.
Oh,
They gotta bring back American Gladiators. You remember that
Oh
show?
my
I used to
god,
love
that
show.
was great.
Hell yeah, man.
I follow I want to say I follow what's his name, Michael Hearn, and I want to say I think he used to be an American Gladiator.
Was he Laser?
Oh, I
can't even remember any of the names.
I don't know. There was Diamond. There was Laser.
Ice.
There was Ice.
Yeah.
There was for me I could only watch a little bit at a time because of those stupid outfits. Were just like,
I always wanted to get behind the gun thing, the thing, the launch.
I wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
Because that just looks. That's like this is awesome. All right.
So yeah, there you have it. That's pretty much.
Yeah, this is
a
lighter episode this week. Yeah.
But we will have the interview attached to this one way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're listening in on our Spotify, Anchor, those platforms, the audio platforms. It will be tied in.
And YouTube.
It may be a separate video. We'll figure out how that will go later tonight.
Editing
sucks. All right. So on to our segment that we kind of have begun doing every week.
Yeah.
Choose your destiny.
Honk, honk.
All right, this week, since it was about hobbies and me and Wildman over here, we both share the same hobby with the martial arts and stuff like that. I thought I hit him with a little, pick one, eliminate the other two.
Tough one.
This means their movies, everything about them go away.
Oh,
the one that you choose remains intact.
Okay.
All right. So, A, Michael Jai White.
Okay.
For anybody that doesn't know who Michael Jai White is, he played Tyson in the first Tyson documentary.
Yes, he did. Spawn. He was Spawn.
He was Spawn.
Yeah. Blood and Bone.
Undisputed.
Yes, the second one. Yep.
Because the first one was Wesley Snipes and Vin Rames, right?
Yep.
So those are a few of the movies he's from.
He's been in several.
He's in tons of movies.
He's in 7 or 8. He's got 7 or 8 black belts, and I believe he studies 12 in all.
Yeah.
And he's been recently within the last couple of years training his wife.
Oh.
She's I seen her on Facebook the other day, and he said, I forget what he said, but he's got the knee pad, and she's full on up in the air like with
Superman
the knee
punch?
strike. No, knee
strikes.
strike. I was
Nice.
oh wow.
All right, so we got Michael Jai White.
Yes.
Scott Adkins. For those who do not know who Scott Adkins is, he is probably one of my favorite, at least recent favorites.
Okay.
He was in Expendables. He was John Claude's henchman, if you remember. I think
Yes,
it was part 2.
Yep.
He also plays in Ninja, and his most notable role was Boyka from Undisputed 3 and 4.
2, 3, 4.
Was he in 2?
Yeah, he was the one to fight Michael J. White in the second
you're
one.
right. You're correct. That's his first
where he
appearance.
gets his leg broke.
That's where I first noticed him.
Okay.
I mean, this is the guy that jumps up, does 10 twists, and comes down with a leg. It's amazing.
And kicks you with the other leg you didn't think was going to kick you.
So that's B. That's your option B, Scott Adkins, and C, Tony Jaa. I don't think he needs much recognition.
He shouldn't.
Everybody should know An Bak.
Yeah.
He too was in Fast and the Furious. One of the Fast and the Furious, the one in the train.
Yeah.
He was the guy in the train.
No. The last one with not the second 6. He was in 6 or 7. It wasn't a train. It was a bus. It was like a military bus. The army bus. The bus.
Yeah, and he was in a few other American flicks. Not sure if he was in Expendables or not. I don't think so. So we got A, Michael Jai White, B, Scott Adkins, C, Tony Jaa. Choose your destiny.
Oh Jesus! All right. I'm gonna have to go with Michael on this one.
Michael Jai White.
Yeah, I have to. I've seen all of their movies that are out right now, except for Tony Jaa's new one that he's got coming out. I just saw they were talking about it, but other than that, I mean, yes, Scott does the flips and everything. Tony's got where he does the scenes for real.
Yeah, he's like your modern day Jackie Chan.
Yeah, and you could tell. I mean, some of the scenes he does are just.
I mean, one of the most notable scenes we were just talking about. He runs up and scales an elephant, runs down the elephant.
Or in the first one, where he runs and he folds himself in half and he jumps through the Constantine, the razor wire. It's like, do it again.
Do it again.
All
right, so your pick is Michael J. White.
My pick is Michael J. White. You've seen, and
he's
maybe
the overall
yes.
For you.
I mean, I've seen where he's funny in some of his roles, or where he's just the straight talker. Falcon Rising.
Yeah.
And he's done
He's got that voice too.
Well, it's not that he seems to me like He's not cocky, with the exception of the thing he did say about Bruce Lee last year. But then he retracted. He did apologize.
Of course he did.
Because he came out, he's like, who could beat Bruce Lee? And he, on the interview, he was like, I can. I got 100 pounds on the guy. And he retracted it. But, see, and that's the thing. That's what you like. You know, he might have said that, but he retracted it. He, from all intents and purposes, and everyone I've been able to see on like his different his interviews, he's down to earth. He's a great guy. Not saying that the other two, but I'd have to go with Michael. I like his action just a little bit more than Boyka, you know.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. All right, so I'm just gonna weigh in here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give you any explanation why.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Scott Adkins, man, Boyka.
Okay.
That was enough for me. That's my explanation, Boyka.
All right.
And it doesn't mean I dislike. Remember, this is you know, you got 3 choices. It doesn't mean I dislike the other 2, but holy shit, I like Scott Adkins.
And I was telling DJ earlier, check out the Accident Man. It's got both Michael J. White and Scott Adkins in it, and I forget the guy's name. Ray Parks was the guy that played Toad in the first X-Men movie. He's in that. And there's a fight scene with all 3 of them. Michael and Ray are buddies. That's how they're mercenaries that do their thing. And then Scott is his own thing. And there's I want to say it's a BJJ fight at first. Well, they're practicing. And then Scott comes in, and it's just great stuff. It's great.
Good. All right, man. There you have it. This week's Choose Your Destiny. All right, so we're going to go on to our latest segment that seems like it's blowing up on Facebook. Everybody loves this idea. I don't understand why no one has thought of this before.
Oh, yes.
Maybe it's just because, you know,
greed.
I don't know.
Selfishness.
Whatever it is, it is.
I'm going to throw it out there. Greed and selfishness.
It has taken over all the posts I put up about it. Basically, I don't know what we're going to call it. I think we're just going to call it pod support. You know, pod support. We're lifting up other guys that are doing this, other females, guys, whoever's doing this. Aliens.
Like a bad alien movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there talk about hobbies that do this for a hobby. They may not be doing it to get money. They may not be doing it to monetize. They may not be just to simply talk about what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So we're going to give a shout out to a slew of some of these podcasts. And I hope that you guys that have posted that you would like a shout out will listen to our episodes and listen for it.
We may not get to everybody tonight.
We're definitely not getting to everybody. So
just a few at a time.
There has been 94 people that received this message and wanted a shout out. But we're going to start off at the top, and let me see here.
If he can find it.
No, I'm on it. I just got to scroll to the top, and I don't want to leave anybody out here. So.
Gotcha. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
All right. Isn't that a touch screen or no?
No.
Oh.
All right. So we're gonna start off with Tough Titties, a podcast on Anchor. The goal of this podcast is to be entertained yet helpful when it comes to all things sex, dating, relationships, and more. So Tough Titties, go check that out on Anchor. On Spotify, we have Three Wheel Bicycle. There's no description there. That could be anything. It literally is a squirrel talking into a microphone. So
nice.
I hope your interest is intrigued and you click on that. That's Three Wheel Bicycle on Spotify. We have The Perspective Guru, a podcast on Anchor. I gave that one a shot. What I heard was awesome. It's kind of like ours, except he's pretty much trying to figure out why we're here. You know, the big question.
42.
Shaping Success with Wes Tinkersley on Apple Podcasts. Let's see here. Say What Needs Saying. This is on Linktree. Say What Needs Saying. We talk about touchy subjects like politics, religion, culture, money, etc. So all the things that we try to not emphasize about. If you're into that stuff, go check out Say What Needs Saying on Linktree. Next one we have Who They Want Podcast, a show on Anchor. We talk about and we invite all guests over to share with the listeners. We talk about it all. I'm sorry. We're going to do a few more here. Listen Up America, covering politics, sports, and entertainment. A weekly show that looks to get people to slow down, breathe, and listen. It's about getting people to acknowledge that America is about the people, not the politicians. Listen Up America. That is on Spotify as well. We got one here that says, "Thanks, Ray. My podcast is geared towards and hearing the hearing loss community.
Oh, that's cool.
I speak with industry leaders and those struggling with hearing disorders. Hopefully this helps educate people and they can find the help that they need. The Hearing Tracker podcast. Hearing loss therapies. That's a really cool one. That sounds like a great one. Lifting others and helping others. It's right in line with what we do over here. That's on Apple. Podcast Apple. We'll do a couple more here. Hello and thank you. My podcast is about uplifting and inspiring entrepreneurs. Our platform is free to all small and upcoming businesses. K is for knowledge. The letter K is for knowledge. It's a podcast on Anchor. We're going to do two more here. The Bud Show, Cannabis Education and Conversations. I think a lot of people, that partake could find that very intriguing and interesting. We do know that there's some people out there that do not find that intriguing, so enter at your own discretion there. And the last one we're going to give a shout out to this week is Dancing with Bipolar.
Cool.
They have their actual own website, so dancingwithbipolar.com.
Okay.
You guys are the shout outs of the week. If you haven't been shout out and you were in the thread of me asking for your podcast and shout out, listen to our show next week and we will continue this ongoing list of shout outs. So everybody out there that is doing their podcast thing, we hope that you succeed. We hope that there's much money, a lot of money in your future. Even if it's not money, I hope that you're fulfilling your passion and your hobby. So shout out to all you guys. We wish nothing but success to you guys.
That's right.
All right, so last little bit of business here. We're going to get to the quote of the week. I picked Confucius this week.
Ooh.
A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. All right, Wild Man, that's this episode.
Yes, DJ.
Another one in the books. Be on the lookout for, we're going to start trying to engage you guys more on the Facebook. Go like our page, Forge on Facebook. We will put up links for, we're going to put up links for a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We're going to put up links for our podcast.
Forge on, you said Facebook.
Yep. On Facebook.
YouTube too.
Yep, we're on YouTube. We're gonna get an Instagram thing going soon. So be on the lookout for that. We'll also inform you about that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the interview that we conducted this week. He will be joining us quite often. We spoke to him quite a bit tonight, and we look forward to him being a great addition to this podcast. He is a nurse, among other things. He's an author, a rapper, you name it. This guy has knowledge for days.
A holistic guy too.
A holistic healer.
Yes, holistic healer.
So the guy knows.
And a Reiki master.
We're gonna go on and on about it. And he's gonna open some doors for some very intellectual conversation. And you guys.
One quick thing too.
Oh yeah, here's his book here. The Truth Exists Within. We actually told him that we'll be posting some links for his book. We'll also be posting some links for his most recent album, which if you're in the hip hop, you don't even have to be in the hip hop because
just take a listen.
He spreads it's not gangster rap. He spreads knowledge. I mean, there's nothing wrong with gangster rap. Don't get me wrong. I love some 50 Cent. You know what I mean? But he gets the knowledge across. So you guys make sure that you go check out his links on our Facebook page and actually listen to his interview. You guys will enjoy it.
Check it out. It's good
Until
stuff.
Next time, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.